Have you ever been home alone on a stormy night, surrounded by darkness and silence, until that silence is shattered by something unnatural? Tonight, I'll tell you about Michael, a 14-year-old boy who experienced something so horrifying, it still haunts his dreams. But be warned, this story isn't for the faint of heart. Turn off the lights, if you dare. My name is Michael. I'm 14 years old and live with my aunt in a secluded countryside house. Our closest neighbor is 8 miles away, and the nights here are eerily quiet, perfect for sleeping. My aunt works the night shift, leaving me home alone most nights. I used to enjoy the solitude, until that night. It was a stormy evening, rain pounding against the windows, thunder rumbling in the distance. After a long day at school, I played video games and texted my friends. Around 9 p.m., my aunt left for her shift. "Lock the doors and don't stay up too late," she reminded me before stepping out into the rainy darkness. By 11 p.m., I was tired and crawled into bed, watching YouTube until sleep overtook me. I don't know how long I slept before a sharp knock at the front door yanked me out of my dreams. Who could that be? I mumbled, still groggy. Checking the time, I saw it was 3 a.m. I got up reluctantly and tiptoed to the front window to peek outside. The porch was empty. The rain had slowed, making the eerie quiet even worse. Probably some prank, I thought, shutting the curtain and heading back to bed. But just as I was settling in, I heard a loud bang from the basement. My heart skipped a beat. "Maybe the wind," I whispered, trying to calm myself. Our basement door was always locked due to my aunt's paranoia about strange occurrences. Still, I couldn't shake the uneasy feeling gnawing at me. Then I heard it, slow, deliberate footsteps creaking up the basement stairs. Panic surged through me as I grabbed my phone and dialed 911. The operator answered quickly. "Someone's in my house," I whispered, shaking. She instructed me to lock myself in an upstairs room and find a weapon. But I couldn't move. Suddenly, BM, bam, BM. Something was pounding on the basement door, trying to break it down. I bolted into my room, locking the door behind me, and hid in my closet, barely breathing. The pounding stopped. I listened intently. Then a bone-chilling whisper echoed through the house, distorted and otherworldly. "Michael, let me in." My stomach twisted in terror. The basement door splintered open. I heard slow, scraping footsteps charging up the stairs. One by one, doors were creaking open, drawers slammed shut. The whispering never stopped. Then, silence. My bedroom door creaked open slowly. Through the closet slats, I saw a shadowy, twisted figure, its face pale and hollow-eyed, its mouth stretched into an unnatural grin. Its long, bony fingers twitched eagerly, as if anticipating something dreadful. I held my breath, praying it wouldn't find me. But then, I exhaled, just a faint breath. Its head snapped toward the closet. My heart pounded in my chest as it took slow, deliberate steps toward me. Its decayed fingers hovered over the closet door handle. Suddenly, bang, bang. "Police, open up." The entity screeched, an ear-piercing wail that shattered the air. The room filled with cold, choking darkness. 4 days after, the entity tormented me and my aunt. We'd hear whispers in the night, see shadows darting through the house, and wake up with bruises we couldn't explain. Every night felt like a countdown to something worse. Desperate, my aunt sought the help of a priest from the nearby town. On the 4th night, the priest arrived, armed with holy relics and scriptures. As he entered, the house shuddered, and a foul stench filled the air. He began chanting, his voice steady and powerful. The entity screamed in rage, its shadowy form twisting and lashing out. Cold winds howled through the house as if nature itself were resisting. With one final, thunderous shout of scripture, the priest thrust a crucifix into the air. The entity shrieked in agonizing defeat before vanishing in a burst of dark mist, leaving behind only an overwhelming silence. Trembling, I stumbled out of the closet, gasping for air. The priest approached me solemnly. It's gone, for now. But even now, even after all this time, I still see that twisted grinning face in my nightmares. And sometimes, on stormy nights, I swear I can hear faint whispers coming from the basement, calling my name, Michael. Then last week, I woke up to find muddy, human-like footprints leading from the basement to my room, and the closet door slightly ajar. I still don't know whose footprints were there. What if someone you trusted wasn't really them? What if the voice you hear in the dead of night isn't calling you for comfort, but for something far darker? Tonight, I'll tell you about a girl named Sophie and the night she discovered the horrifying truth about what lurked beneath her home. Turn off the lights, if you dare. My name is Sophie, and I was 16 when this happened. We lived in a 2-story house in the middle of a quiet, sleepy town. It was just me and my mom since my dad passed away when I was little. Life was simple, until that night. It was around 11 p.m. when I finally decided to go to bed. My mom had gone upstairs earlier, exhausted after a long day at work. I could hear the faint hum of the TV from her room as I lay in my bed scrolling through my phone. The house was silent except for the rain tapping softly against the windows. I was about to drift off when I heard it, a familiar voice from downstairs. "Sophie, come here. I need you." I blinked, startled. It was unmistakably my mother's voice. Confused, I sat up and listened. "Sophie, come down here, sweetie." The tone was wrong, strained and desperate. My heart pounded in my chest. Why would she be downstairs? I clearly remembered her going to bed. I slid out of bed, my bare feet touching the cold wooden floor. Slowly, I opened my bedroom door, peering into the dark, quiet hallway. The dim light from the downstairs living room cast eerie shadows on the walls. I took a tentative step toward the staircase. Suddenly, a hand grabbed my wrist, yanking me back with force. I spun around. My mother stood behind me, her face pale and filled with terror. In a shaky whisper, she said, "Don't go down there." I heard it too. My blood ran cold. Before I could react, the voice from downstairs screeched, "Sophie, now." It was angry, twisted, distorted. I felt my mother's grip tighten. "We have to hide," she hissed. She dragged me back into my room, locking the door behind us. The pounding of my heart was deafening. We could hear heavy, dragging footsteps moving around downstairs, slow and deliberate. Thud, thud, thud. The sound stopped at the base of the stairs. We held our breath. Then creak, creak. The thing began climbing the stairs, one slow step at a time. My mother grabbed a heavy lamp from my nightstand, ready to defend us. I reached for my phone, my trembling fingers barely managing to dial 911. The operator answered, but before I could speak, the footsteps stopped, right outside my bedroom door. The handle rattled, then slowly turned. We backed against the wall, my mother holding the lamp high, ready to strike. The door didn't open. Then came the whisper, "Sophie, let me in." "It's okay now." The voice was still my mother's, but hollow, soulless. Suddenly, a loud bang came from downstairs, followed by the sound of shattering glass. The thing outside our door let out an inhuman shriek before retreating down the stairs with impossible speed. We heard it slamming into walls, scratching frantically at the front door, and finally, silence. The police arrived within minutes, finding the front door wide open, but no sign of a break-in or anyone inside the house. But the most chilling discovery was what they found in the basement. Deep claw marks were etched into the walls, as though something had been trapped there for years. Something that had finally gotten out. As the officers searched, they noticed something moving in the shadows, something watching. One officer swore he heard faint whispers echoing from the darkness. Even now, I still wake up at night, hearing my mother's voice faintly calling from downstairs. "Sophie, come here. I need you."